Okay, welcome to part 5 of the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Basics tutorial. Now we're going to get into defensive actions and how they can benefit you, how they can keep you from taking damage, okay? Well, there's two typical types of blocking in the game, and blocking is obviously the basic defensive move. There's high blocking and there's low blocking. Now, high blocking will work against jumping attacks. As you can see, Captain America is defending against my jumping attacks. And also by mid attacks, which are basically standing level attacks, as you can see. Okay? All those he can defend against. Now, all he's doing is holding the opposite direction that he's facing. So since Captain America is facing left, he's holding right on the joystick, and that's how he's blocking those attacks. Okay? Now, there's another kind of blocking called low blocking. Low blocking is necessary for low attacks. So, for example, if I'm not just pressing buttons, if I hold down on my joystick with Wolverine and now I press buttons, Captain America's getting hit because he's not blocking those. He's only holding backwards. He's not holding down backwards. So to defend against low attacks, you have to be holding down backwards on your joystick. So you have to basically have your joystick in the bottom corner in the opposite direction from what you're facing. See, now Captain America can block all his attacks. The problem now, though, is if he's blocking low, he can no longer block my jumping attacks. You see that? If he's blocking low, my jumping attacks will hit him. They'll go right through his block. So, for high and mid attacks, you have to hold backwards. For low attacks, you have to hold down backwards. Okay? So that's the basics of blocking. Now I'm going to teach you a couple different things. First of all, I want to show you what is advancing guard. Now, for those of you who have played previous games in the Versus series, what you're going to find out is that advancing guard is what they used to call push blocking, but they've completely changed the name of it, probably because they changed the name of it in the Tatsunoko vs. Capcom game, which was the last of the Versus series of games, okay? What this means is that, watch this. See what happened? I tried to attack Captain America and he blocked, but then he's pushing me away, and that's called advancing guard. And what happens is I can't continue my combo. I'm trying to hit him with a series of attacks and I can't. He's pushing me back repeatedly. And this even works if I do a super move. Watch this. See that? He's pushing me back, pushing me back. He's trying to keep me away as much as possible so I can't continue to attack him afterwards. This is especially effective against supers such as Deadpool's, where right now I'm right next to him. But watch this. Push, 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 push. He can just keep pushing, 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 and that way it basically keeps him from taking too much damage, and at the same time it gives him the advantage. I cannot continuously attack him after doing that, okay? So, there's a couple advantages. Number one, if I'm continuously attacking Captain America, it's hard for him to know where to block. If I'm just all over him, okay? If I'm doing a high attack, then a low attack, it would be hard for him to know how to block. But since he's using advancing guard, he's pushing me away long enough so that he can figure out how to block, or he can push me away and I can't continuously attack him. So that's the purpose of the advancing guard. It kind of gets your opponent out of your face, gives you some breathing room, and allows you to see what his next move's going to be. Or in some cases, you can even get out of there. So I'm attacking right now. Oh, he pushed me back so far, now he could jump out of the way, or he could do his own attack. How do you do advancing guard? Advancing guard is very simple. When someone's attacking you, all you need to do is block, and it could be either a high or low block, but you're going to press a light and medium attack together, and that's how you're going to do the advancing guard. Now, what you're going to see is that you can do it more than once. When I attack Captain America, see what he did? He did advancing guard, and he just did it once, okay? Now, when I do my super, Captain America is going to go, he's pushing it, pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. He's doing this. He's pressing the buttons repeatedly, okay? This is what he's doing. See the bottom of the screen there? That's what he's doing. He's pressing medium and light together repeatedly to get repeated advancing guards, and that's allowing him to basically push me back. And did you see what just happened there? There, he pushed me all the way across the screen. It wasn't the super move, but it's just a regular special move. He advancing guarded 3 times and pushed me completely back across the screen, which gave a large amount of distance between us, and now he can really regroup and try to figure out what he wants to do. So that's a really useful thing that you can do, okay? Some other defensive techniques that I want to teach you. There's a thing called knockdown recovery. So, knockdown, what is knockdown? Knockdown is if I trip someone, okay? Oops, let me turn off his guard. Sorry about that. So he's no guard, okay? I trip him. And you saw what just happened? Tripped him and he rolled, okay? So what happens is, if you don't do anything, if you don't touch anything and I trip you, you're just going to stay in place where you are, and that might give me the opportunity to do a move that's called an off-the-ground move and juggle you. So what you're going to want to do when I'm attacking you is you're going to want to try to roll out of the way because you're afraid that I might try to juggle you off the ground. And all you basically need to do is tap a direction and a button when you land on the ground. So if I'm doing this, Captain America, what he's basically doing is tapping towards me and pressing a button. And when he hits the ground, it allows him to roll, okay? Now, not in all circumstances, you cannot always do this. Let me show you a circumstance where you can. Alright, so what happened there? Captain America hit the ground, but he couldn't roll immediately. He had a little bit of time there where there was some recovery before he could roll. And this does happen frequently in the game. There are certain moves, for example, what I did here, 1, 2, 3, special. Oops, let me do a little shorter combo. 1, 2, special, okay? Usually when people hit you in the air in a combo with the special button, it creates that grounding mechanic where you cannot roll immediately. So there are going to be some situations in the game where you're going to be grounded and you just cannot recover right away. It's not anything to be ashamed of. It's not, there's nothing you can really do. Some people just have really good setups to do juggle combos and off-the-ground combos, and there's not much you can do about it. But if at all possible, you're going to want to try to recover as soon as possible. So if you were Captain America, you're going to want to be, attempting to roll as soon as you can. Because see, all this time, if he didn't roll when he did, it would have been even additional time for me to try to juggle him off the ground with something like this. Where am I? Oh my god, I was so high in the air I couldn't even see myself. Hold on. Nope. Something like that, okay? Now, that's called I believe it's called knockdown recovery, okay? There's a couple other things that I want to show you. There's something called air recovery. And air recovery is pretty simple. If I'm launching 1, 2, 3. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that last hit. Air recovery. See what just happened? How Captain America kind of flipped out there? There are certain situations in the game where... Here, let's actually turn on air recovery. Dummy opponent will perform air recovery forward. Oops. See what happened? Captain America moved forward there. Did you see that? The difference between the two? I'll show you. When air recovery's off... He just kind of flipped in place and stayed there. With air recovery on, and there's two different kinds of air recovery, see that? He flips forward. And the way to do that is when you're in the air, if you're trying to recover, you keep tapping a direction. And to be completely honest with you, I don't know, I'm not 100% because the instruction booklet doesn't explain it. I can tell you that in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, you would want to hold a direction and you would press light and medium attack together. So you'd be pressing... yeah, light and medium attack, and that's how you would kind of pop out of the combo. I don't know why in the instruction booklet they don't actually explain any of these recovery techniques in the instruction booklet, which is kind of silly. I don't know if they've changed it, but for the most part, when I was playing with my friends yesterday, I was doing the same thing I used to do in Marvel. I would be up there. I'm sorry, in Marvel 2. I'd be up there and I would just press the buttons and tap the direction, and I would recover in midair. So that's an aerial recovery, and it allows you to determine what direction you'll move if you are in midair and you're getting hit, but you don't necessarily get whacked to the ground, okay? Now there's two more defensive techniques that I actually want to teach you before we move on to our next part. The first one is called crossover counter, okay? To perform a crossover counter, a couple different factors need to be present. Number one, you need to be blocking an attack of some kind, okay? Number two, you need to have at least one level of super. And number three, you need to have at least one teammate alive, okay? Now, you remember earlier I taught you about how to call in partners. By pressing partner 1 button, Wolverine will come out and attack, okay? Oops, and that was actually a good example of crossover counter, but I didn't mean to do that. Let me show you. Partner 2, Wesker comes out and attacks, okay? So, I'm coming over here, I'm strolling over. I want to punch Dr. Doom straight in the mouth. So I'm going to try to attack Dr. Doom. Here's what Dr. Doom's going to do. He's going to block my attack. Then he's going to press a direction either back or towards. It doesn't actually matter. And he's going to press one of his partner buttons. So if he were to press towards and partner 1 during the block, Super Skrull is actually going to jump out, take Dr. Doom's place, and punch Deadpool right in the face. If he did that with partner 2, Captain America would come out and do it. So let me show you. In this case, he chose partner 2, and so Captain America came out and hit me. I'll show you again. In that case, they chose Dr. Doom, and Dr. Doom came out and punched me. It's very simple to do. All you need to do, again, you block the attack. I don't think they're ready to do it yet. There we go. You block the attack, and then as soon as you block the attack, as long as you have a level of meter, you press any direction, either towards or backwards, and you press the appropriate partner button to get that appropriate partner to jump out and take your place. Now, there's a couple reasons you would want to do this. Number one, let's say, for example, Captain America was just about to die. He has no life left whatsoever, and I'm really on him, okay? I'm doing a super. I'm supering him. Now, you saw what just happened there, right? Let's say Captain America was about to die. So if he had blocked my super move, he would have died because the chip damage would have killed him. Well, what he did is he used the crossover counter and basically used Dr. Doom as the sacrificial lamb. Dr. Doom came in, replaced Captain America so that Captain America could survive, and then Dr. Doom actually took the bullets. Same thing, we'll do the same thing again, and I'm going to guess the same thing's going to happen. That's exactly right. So you saw what happened. If Dr. Doom were about to die there, you know, he would want to save himself, and so Captain America comes in and he ends up taking the bullet so that Doom can live. All right? Now, the other use for this is, let's say you just want to get maybe Dr. Doom in here, okay? Because maybe Dr. Doom is a better matchup to fight Deadpool than Captain America is. So you want to get him in here, but you don't want to tag because you're afraid to tag. It might be unsafe. So you just want to try to get him in here. And maybe you want to get some extra damage on Deadpool as well. You would wait. Deadpool attacks. You would block. And then you would do the crossover counter. Doom comes in. He attacks. He hits Deadpool. So you've scored some damage and you successfully tagged out and gotten the right person in who you wanted to fight. So that's called the crossover counter. The last thing I want to review before we get to some more things with Team Supers, juggles off the grounds and stuff like that. The last defensive maneuver is called the air escape, okay? And you know what? I just realized there is no air escape. There's no way to get the computer to do air escape. So I can't even show you air escape. But basically the way it works is this. You remember before, let me turn off guard. You remember before I told you that during an air combo, you can launch 1, 2, and by pressing the special button, you can get one of your teammates to tag in, like you saw right there, okay? And there's 3 different ways to do that. Well, it's not foolproof, because anytime that you try to do this, and you try to tag in your teammate to continue the combo, your opponent who you're hitting actually has a chance to reverse what you're doing, okay? And all that the opponent has to do is basically guess which one of those special tags you did. If you held towards your opponent and pressed special, that's 1. If you held up towards plus special, that's 2. And if you did down towards plus special, that's 3. Those are the 3 different options. So if I do this to Dr. Doom, and then I do that, and there I held up towards and special, as you can see right there on the screen. If while I was doing that, Dr. Doom said, I think he's going to do that. So he also pressed up and special. What would happen is when Deadpool came in, would actually come in and smack Deadpool down and smack him away and basically end the aerial combo. So there is a chance that you can actually save yourself from getting this really long extended combo done to you in midair if you guess correctly. And it really isn't so much as a guess. Right now it's a guess because it's a new game and not everyone, you know, is watching it enough to know exactly which aerial combo each person's using, which tag out you're using. But I get the feeling as the game progresses, like for example, there I just held straight ahead and I did it, okay? Here I held down. Down is pretty apparent because as you saw, you bounce off the ground. So down is a dead giveaway. If you get hit in an aerial combo and they tag out and you bounce off the ground, you know you have to hold down towards and press special and you'll counter that one. That's the easy one. But it's more of these ones where, am I going up or am I going down? Then you're going to have to figure out, am I going straight, up, or down? And I apologize that I can't show you the counter. I don't have anyone here with me today. If the game had the option to enable aerial counters, obviously it would be a lot better. I'm sorry, they probably call it aerial escapes in the manual, but that's how they work. When I come back, we're going to talk a little bit about throwing, throw escapes, team supers, off the grounds, and juggles, so come back for part 6.